This is one of the most cruel and unfair situations I've ever seen happen at the Olympics. 25-year-old Algerian boxer Imane Khelif is a biological woman and competing in the welterweight division at the Olympics in Paris. Imane Khelif is not a transgender woman or a biological man. Imane Khelif is a woman. She was born that way and has identified that way her entire life. This little girl is Imane Khelif. The IOC has confirmed that Khelif is a woman. If you do any research, you will know that 5 million women suffer with higher testosterone levels than most females. But that doesn't make them a man.
This Olympics female boxing scandal is everywhere. It's centred around these two people, Imane Khelif from Algeria and Yu-ting from Taiwan, who I've got to say kinda look like dudes. Now, are they dudes? Well, yeah, for the sake of governing a sporting event, it seems that they are. Put it this way, there seems to be a preponderance of evidence that they are dudes, or males. Now, they may live as chicks, they might have even been raised as chicks, but they seem to be biologically male. See, this thing's basically just a clash between two sporting bodies, the IOC, the Olympics Committee, and the IBA, the International Boxing Association. And you've basically got the IOC saying they're women. Trust us, we're the bigger authority. We've seen their passports and their passports say female. And then you've got the IBA saying we've tested them. They were disqualified from our association because they had XY chromosomes. So, I mean, one seems to have looked into this a little bit deeper. Let's have a closer look. So I've seen people all over the internet saying this is an outrage. Imane Khelif is a woman, implying that Imane Khelif is not a male.
The boxer in question is cisgender. Born a woman, raised a woman, always been a woman. Is not trans, is not intersex. The issue, mate, is a bunch of bigoted fuckheads. That's what it is.
That was Angry Aussie, by the way. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know who that is. The guy's aged like 30 years in the last 5. I hope he's alright. So I guess we've got to consider what is a male for sporting purposes. Well, a male would have XY chromosomes. They'd have an elevated level of testosterone. They'd have physical advantages like a larger body, more muscle mass, stronger bone density, higher lung capacity, etc. Now, we've already seen the way Imane Khelif fights. And she, he, whatever, seems to be a better fighter than all the females. Now, sure, they've lost to females in the past, but that doesn't mean they're not a male. So let's have a look at what the IOC's saying about this. They put out a statement that reads, "Every person has the right to practice sport without discrimination. All athletes participating in the boxing tournament of the Olympic Games Paris 2024 comply with the competition's eligibility and entry regulations, as well as all applicable medical regulations set by the Paris 2024 boxing unit. As with previous Olympic boxing competitions, the gender and age of the athletes are based on their passport. These rules also apply during the qualification period, including the boxing tournaments of the 2023 European Games, blah, 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 blah. We have seen in reports misleading information about 2 female athletes competing at the Olympic Games Paris 2024. These 2 athletes have been competing in international boxing competitions for many years, in the women's category, including the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, International Boxing Association World Championships, and IBA-sanctioned tournaments. These 2 athletes were the victims of a sudden and arbitrary decision by the IBA. Towards the end of the IBA World Championship 2023, they were suddenly disqualified without any due process. According to the IBA minutes available on their website, this decision was initially taken solely by the IBA Secretary General and CEO. The IBA board only ratified it afterwards, and only subsequently requested that a procedure to follow in similar cases in the future be established and reflected in the IBA regulations. The minutes also say the IBA should establish a clear procedure on gender testing. The current aggression against these 2 athletes is based entirely on this arbitrary decision, which was taken without any proper procedure, especially considering that these athletes had been competing in top-level competition for many years. Such an approach is contrary to good governance. The IBA's recognition was withdrawn by the IOC in 2023, following its suspension in 2019. The withdrawal of recognition was confirmed by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. See the IOC statement following the ruling. The IOC has made it clear that it needs national boxing federations to reach a consensus around a new international federation in order for boxing to be included on the sports program of the Olympic Games LA 28. So what exactly's been said here? When you think about it, not much. They've basically said we don't like the IBA, we don't think they had good systems in place, they didn't follow due process, which is rich coming from the IOC, so we're not going to agree with their ruling. Now what's the IOC's process on this matter? Does their passport say female?
You gotta be some type of retarded.
It's a fucking joke, but none of it answered the question everyone wants answered. Are these people male or female? It was just a bunch of skirting around the issue. The IBA is bad because X, Y, and Z. Doesn't answer the question. Answer the fucking question. Now, the IBA also came out with a statement. I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing, but they basically say in 2023, they disqualified Yu-ting and Imane Khelif from their female boxing after they underwent gender testing. They say it was not a testosterone test, but another test. They don't disclose what it was, which is weird, but the IBA president, Umar Kremlev, later said that Khelif was proven to have XY chromosomes. And then we've got this curious video from Mark Adams, the IOC spokesperson.
Testosterone is not a perfect test. Many women can have testosterone which is in what would be called male levels, and still be women and still compete as women. So this panacea, this idea that suddenly you do one test for testosterone and that sorts everything out, not the case, I'm afraid. But each sport needs to deal with its issues. They know their sports and their disciplines the best, and you need to target and tailor, I should say, the testing and so on with that. But I think we're all agreed, I hope we're all agreed, that we're not calling for people to go back to the bad old days of sex testing, I think, which was a terrible, terrible thing to do, and I'm sure we all agree that that is not the way forward.
Why isn't it the way forward? These days we've got heaps more dudes pretending to be chicks than the old days. We should have sex testing. Now, it doesn't have to be as simple as show us your junk, and I don't think show us your junk would be the most effective way. Obviously, it needs to be like a chromosome test in conjunction with, say, a testosterone test. But what I found really curious about that video is his banging on about how some women can have high testosterone. Now, the IBA say they didn't do a testosterone test. So has the IOC done one? Is this the IOC confirming that Imane Khelif has high testosterone? So do we now know that this boxer has XY chromosomes along with high testosterone, along with the appearance and fighting style of a male? I think they just told on themselves. And like I was hinting at before, to all the people on the internet outraged about this, how exactly do you define male? For sporting purposes. I mean, we have male and female categories. What exactly would it take for you to say, okay, fair enough, Imane Khelif is a male? I've heard crazy shit like, oh, they were brought up as a girl. Okay, they were brought up as a girl. Fine. I've heard stuff like they were assigned gender at birth, which only goes to show why that statement is bullshit. Assigned at birth means nothing. You are male or female. The doctors got it wrong.
And by the way, should make this absolutely clear for everyone, this is not a transgender issue. I know you know that, but I think there has been some misreporting on this, and I think it's very, very important to say that this is not a transgender issue. These women have been competing in competitions for many years.
See, I find this line to be kind of a red herring too. I never thought it was a transgender issue. I want to know if this person is biologically male, and it appears they are. It appears they both are. And just yesterday, another sports official, nothing to do with the IBA or the IOC, Istvan Kovacs, who's the European Vice President of the World Boxing Organization. He confirmed that Imane Khelif has XY chromosomes. So let's just break this down. What's the 100-foot view? You've got the boxer that Imane Khelif fought saying, I'm not going to continue with this fight. I've never been punched this hard. You've got the IBA saying that Imane Khelif failed a gender test. You've got the IBA CEO saying that Imane Khelif tested for XY chromosomes. And you've got the Vice President of the World Boxing Organization saying the same thing. You've also got the spokesperson of the IOC talking about high testosterone levels. But the IOC itself and every left-wing woke motherfucker on the internet says, nah, passport says woman.
Bigoted fuckheads.
This is a joke. Like I said, what's it going to take for these people to say, okay, maybe this person is a male? Now, you notice I haven't gone too hard in this video. I'm not attacking this person for like pretending to be a woman, because at the end of the day, I think they're a genetic male who was labelled a female at birth. They were brought up as a female, but when they were tested by the IBA and confirmed to be male, that's when they should have said, okay, I shouldn't be competing against females. Or Algeria's just fucking with the West. They know we're gullible fucks. They know we won't question it, or at least the people in charge won't question it. Let's just send a bloke to fight all the chicks and watch the West's heads explode. I don't know, probably not, but that'd be fucking funny. Anyway, this hasn't been a super crazy fun video. We'll make the next one a bit more lighthearted, but I wanted to say my piece on this because it was annoying me. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. See you next time. Ta-ta, bye-bye.
Recession,